This is your piece of real estate on the internet world. It is your place where people are going to come and visit you and judge you to decide whether they should trust you or not. PPC Logic is a program inside ManageByStats, correct?
Yeah, so the way it ends up working is it is a ManageByStats program. And right now, in order to use PPC Logic, you have to be a ManageByStats customer. But we're talking price ranges that are so low that you can have both. And it's still far more competitive than most of our competitors out there. But OK, so what it is it's manager human guided artificial intelligence, machine learning. So essentially, the way you can kind of look at this is if you want to have a healthy PPC campaign for any kind of product, there are 15, 17 actions that you can do at any regularity to make sure that it actually performs well. And you could be doing these on a monthly basis, which isn't going to be necessarily very effective because things change in that month. You could do it on a weekly basis. But once you get down to the point where you're trying to do it on an hourly basis, if you have any number of products, there's no way. It's not possible. You would be a full-time PPC manager for your own product. So PPC Logic, we're going to sit down with you, establish, okay, what is your strategy? Are you launching? Are you looking to really just increase your sales? Are you looking to just maintain natural growth? We're going to look at all these different strategies. And then based on that, we're going to structure artificial intelligence to actually line up with what you're trying to achieve. So those 15 to 17 actions that you should be doing on each of your search terms, in each campaign, we're doing those actions multiple times a second, where a person just can't do that. You can't keep up with that kind of velocity. And that is designed to give someone an advantage. And we found it to be amazingly effective for anyone whose gross revenue monthly is above 10K. Below 10K, it's challenging. They're a little too new. We found that it's not cost effective for the person, but it's one of those areas that tends to encapsulate a lot of someone's time and energy and attention. And this is something that makes it so you can kind of focus on the 101 other actions that you have to do as an Amazon seller, especially if you're running solo.
So below 10K, focus on doing it yourself. Get good at it. Get your feet wet with the platform and get some results with PPC. Understand the basics of it, and then once you get to 10K, you can scale yourself aggressively with a better tool like that. Correct?
Yeah. Well, and what we would suggest below 10K, you mentioned the main points. You have to make sure your listing is strong. We focus on people being what's called PPC ready. If you're not ready to really attack from a paid perspective marketing, you're going to throw away money. It's an all but guarantee. So you need to actually be prepared to advertise. And that is listing. You want to make sure that you have good images, bullet points, make sure you're actually tracking and hitting the correct keywords. It's important to do a reverse ASIN search on your competition, mainly because you need to know areas that they're doing well so you can copy those and attack them on your side. And then also, once you know what those strong keywords are, you want to make sure that they're heavy in your listing. And on top of that, that you're actually doing advertising specifically on those terms. So,
right. I would add to that, Curtis, that a hot tip for those of you guys, because I love practicality. This is something that we know as Amazon sellers. You're not going to start advertising, investing money, your hard-earned dollars, unless you have that listing ready to convert. If you guys don't know about the Amazon platform, PPC, which is pay-per-click, is an important element to the platform. Amazon will help you find people to purchase your products. You have to pay for that click. And if you pay for that click and you don't get them to convert, you're not going to be able to successfully profit from these campaigns. You want to have your images, your title, your bullet points, keywords. You want to have even something called A+ content, which is something that Amazon allows you to do now. So you can make the listing pretty. This is your piece of real estate on the internet world. It is your place where people are going to come and visit you and judge you to decide whether they should trust you or not. Obviously, Amazon is also a platform built on reviews. So if you don't get other people to give you opinions about your product, unbiased opinions about your product, then you're going to not be able to convert. So there's elements like that, especially in competitive markets, that you need to take into account. You know, you want to convert, but you want to be able to utilize what other people are doing successfully. And you said that there's something that that ManageByStats has to help people find out what competitors are doing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a full reverse ASIN tool that you can throw in the ASIN of a competitor, and you're going to see all of this, all the relevant keyword information that you need to dissect their success and duplicate it.
So Amazon's, if you guys don't know what ASIN is, it's what does it stand for? I know it's the identification number. Do we know what it stands for?
You know, I it's not on the tip of my tongue, but basically you can kind of think of like the barcode that represents a unique identifier for every single product that is on Amazon. So it's just that unique identifier that only represents one product. By
the way, Curtis, somebody here on the audience, I believe is one, it was Ray from my team, Rain. She said ASIN stands for Amazon Standard Identification Numbers. That simplifies it.
Yeah, very simple. Okay, so we were talking about that conversion point. So you want to make sure if you have conversions, in other words, more sales, that you are seeing your profit remain comparable to those sales and work to increase that profit. Because if you are losing your shirt on pay-per-click or your cost of goods too high or something, you need to evaluate that, because there are these huge companies that look great on paper if you just look at the gross revenue, but if you look at the profit, you know, insolvency doesn't work as a business strategy for very long. You're going to see that creep up on you, and especially in these times, because you alluded to something there that is still going on right now, which is that in 2019, Zuckerberg was in front of Congress. 2020, Mark Zuckerberg, and then from Twitter, you have Jack Dorsey, and then with Amazon, you have Jeff Bezos. All three of them have probably been the most recurring public business figures in front of Congress in 2020. I could be slightly wrong in terms of the most, but you're seeing a lot of antitrust, meaning that Congress is concerned that these businesses are so big that they are, you know, eliminating the ability for competition to come in. So what does that actually mean for you as a seller? It means a couple of things. One, like you mentioned, you're going to see more of these transparency tools. You're going to see things where they're going, okay, let's see. We either give a little bit on transparency and make the platform a little bit more open, or we run the risk of Congress saying, hey, listen, you now need to be 2 or 3 different companies. So of course they're going to do those things. But on top of that, specifically with Amazon, you want to make sure you have a good business. You want to make sure you have a business that has solid profit. You want to make sure that you're setting aside money just in case something happens, because we've seen Amazon crack down on a number of things, which at first glance, you'd be like, this is horrible, because your listing goes down for some reason you had no idea about. But what's actually happening is Amazon as a platform, not just in PPC, is maturing across the boards. They're getting slammed for third-party sellers selling things that, you know, are not necessarily high quality products. In fact, they might be horrible products. So they're getting slammed for things like that. So they're making it a little bit more challenging to even come on as a seller. And I think they're at the point where they're actually doing an interview with you over the phone before you can become a seller.
Wow. I hadn't heard about that. That's incredible.
I heard rumor of this, and it's just these kind of changes are being done to actually ensure that this platform matures and that it actually maintains a high quality product that consumers can continue to trust into the future.
Credibility. They want to keep their credibility, right? Their trust.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, like you said, Facebook has been under fire for the last year and a half relentlessly. Same with Google, same with Twitter, same with Amazon. These guys are just being hammered. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing for there to be more transparency in these areas. It's a great thing because we see a lot of, here's the thing. I don't want to get into politics from a political standpoint of like, you know, who's better, who's worse, but we have a change of guard potentially occurring with the presidency. And that just means that things are liable to being shifted because Republican, Democrat, they're different. They have different perspectives of what is proper business, how are we going to help people? And because of that, as a business owner, you just need to be prepared. You need to know that you're a profitable business. You need to make sure that a segment of that profit is actually being set aside just in case some curveball gets thrown. What it will be, nobody knows. If let's say somehow Trump is still in the White House, you and I both know by what he's already done with China, that he has the intent of continuing to kind of crack down on things with China. He wants to balance the trade. He wants what we're receiving from China to be equal to what China's buying from us. So that's something we know Trump wants to do. Biden has been compared most commonly to Barack Obama, obviously, and Bill Clinton, both of which have had a more favorable set of policies toward China. So in either case, you need to know that, you know, there are the two things that can affect you. There's getting your product from China, wherever you're sourcing it from, and then actually selling it in the United States. Those are your two factors when you're selling on Amazon or any business that's that e-commerce kind of platform. So you need to be prepared for any changes that could happen in those areas. And all that's going to mean, you just need to have sound business practices. That's the thing that's going to get you through this no matter what. And that is just kind of like a little bit of light in that area. That's one big piece of advice. Does it have to do with ManageByStats? Yes and no, it does, because you need to be able to properly track your profit. And if you don't have huge additional expenses being tracked, maybe you're not as profitable as you think, or maybe you're more profitable than you think, and you need to attack a little bit more aggressively. Those nuances are hugely important in the world of marketing and e-commerce. And I'm sure you would agree with that.
Absolutely.